The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
A little bit of everything. I do some singing, some dancing, some chatting with the guests, the skits, the monologues, the comedy.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
Wonderful comedy.
It really is a lot of fun.
98
Good morning, everybody. Hello there. Welcome to Thursday as the week just flies by. One full 7-day period away from Thanksgiving, smelling up your kitchen. How about that? Take that. My name's Sean Holmberg. There's Brady Bogan. There is Brett Festley. Big Dick Toledo's around here somewhere. We are the Morning Sickness, and hoping you're having a lovely start to your weekend. This is when it all starts, the rubber hits the road with the Thanksgiving here. Everybody's already planning out where, all right, we got our trips. Everything. I know 2 or 3 people leaving today. Megan took off yesterday.
We got $1,000 for gas.
That's right. You budgeted.
Budget.
Hopefully you've been saving since July for your gas, for a round tripper. And you're off and running and having the time. Yeah, it's not easy. Megan's in California right now, and it's over $5 a gallon in a couple spots.
Jesus.
So have fun with your road trips. Damn it, I didn't get to go to mine in Dallas and eat the turkey on the Kennedy X. However, I did get a picture. A guy named Matt emailed over. He was in Dallas last week, standing on the X, gave me a picture of the grassy knoll. Somebody was flying. They said flying over Dallas, taking off, sent an overhead shot of the grassy knoll. Like I had to map it out. It was downtown Dallas in the area. And I'm like, there it is. There's Thanksgiving dreams.
What could have been.
What could have been, because it's, man, it would have been awesome. That's what I associate Thanksgiving with. Turkey smell, the Lions losing, and, of course, all those Kennedy shows that are on.
When does that start?
Usually, this is going to be a good weekend for it, because I think he was the 22nd or 23rd is when he got plugged.
Okay.
And then usually they start the weekend prior to the date. This is not a big anniversary. 2 years is 60. So this is the 58th. So you'll get the basics. You'll get all the reruns from
They might throw out one bonus,
it's rare. I've seen
the director's cut or something, or what?
Sometimes you'll get a real Bush attempt at a Kennedy thing. But it's usually a conspiracy theory video that comes out. But they show those Zapruder film like 1,000 times. The best one I've ever seen was Australian guys recreating Kennedy's head with like a red jelly in it. That they said, and they're like, it acts and reacts the exact same way as brain matter. So we've loaded up this watermelon, and they put it in a melon, and then like drew hair on it and stuff, and then stuck it out.
Instead of the shot would come
the exact same distance, the exact same gun, the exact same everything, but it was in an Australian desert. They're like, we're not sure if Southern Hemisphere makes a difference, but here's what it would look like. And they're trying to figure out what the bullet would do. So they recreate the whole thing like this is the closest thing to a human head. They put they put a helmet on the watermelon to make the skull thing. And this is the impact. This is like a recreation. And everything was red. And they shot that watermelon and blew that thing up in slow motion. They had like 60 of them. And there's just bloody watermelon Kennedy heads everywhere.
And did they say the trajectory?
Oh, they had everything.
Would it match, or was it different?
Well, the one thing people won't accept with the single shooter theory is that magic bullet thing that Oliver Stone made such a mess of from the original trial, which, by the way, when Kevin Costner's character, to keep it easy for you, was doing that whole thing, he was considered a lunatic, right? So he went in there and said the magic bullet theory had to make turns and stuff. Well, in Cars in 1963, the one that Kennedy was riding, is the jump seat was over like a little bit less than a foot. It was not directly behind the passenger seat in the back. That there was a seat that was gapped over. So the angle makes tons of sense that it would do what it did. if it was just a straight line. It straight lines right through Kennedy's thing, into an arm, and through and itself in Governor Connolly's leg. But everybody wants to go back to the Oliver Stone movie, which the reason that trial was kind of like, we don't really have anything here. A, there was kind of a cover-up. B, he wasn't right.
That's what
he was wrong.
Want to know is, the cover-up and, like all those photos that they took.
They've got tons of photos, and from all those photos...
disappeared.
Well, did they? We're told they disappeared. Were there photos?
Right.
We don't know. Because people...
The photographer says I was taking pictures.
Right.
Maybe there wasn't film in the camera.
Picture, you don't know. Yeah. Like, there's a guy maybe lying. Because when you go to Dealey Plaza, especially... Or Daily Plaza. It's Daly's in Chicago. You go there, all these people are standing around on big, busy weekends because it's a big tourist thing. And there's a ton of lunatics making up stories about having been there. And they get attention. Well, like, cameras will follow these idiots around. And they don't actually, I took photos. Here are the photos. Okay. And they're just doctored up off the internet.
I'm talking about the photos that were taken in the hospital to document everything. Those are gone.
Not all of them.
There were...
Again, how do you know?
I know hundreds of them. Well,
how
because
do you prove the thing that you can't see? They talk to the people at the hospital
because they were like, give us the film.
Right.
At the time you're done taking pictures, they ask them for the autopsy and all that, and they'll hand us the film.
Right.
No one's ever seen it.
Where did you learn that?
On one of those documentaries.
Exactly. On one of those things. Right. And they are almost all made up. Like, because in the pictures of Kennedy's body, they're everywhere. Like, you got pictures of that thing all over. They wanted to, like, nobody was out not to solve this. If the pictures were to prove a conspiracy. See, I used to be conspiratorial about Kennedy. I'm pretty sure it's one dude. The conspiracy is who set him up. Because Oswald got set up. He shot him.
Well, what about the Jack Ruby thing?
The Jack Ruby thing's fascinating. Just flat fascinating. That's proof that Oswald got set up. You had to quiet Oswald.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is that this is nuts. I love talking about this. That he was in an interrogation room for 3 days. Oswald was being interrogated for 3 days.
But don't you think...
Didn't crack. He's the only assassin in the history of man to not admit his work. The only one. The only assassination that no one has taken credit for in the history of man is Kennedy.
And you still say he shot him.
He did it. He shot him. There's no question he shot him. He was told... you're going to be covered, and then realized somewhere along the line, I've been hung out to dry, which is why he panicked and ran to some movie theater and hid. And then flipped out in the movie theater and started punching the guy.
Why wouldn't you talk?
Because you're going to go to jail for... You try to get away.
Well,
so he may have been talking. He did talk. He said, I'm a patsy. I've been set up. The truth will come out, and I'm sure lawyers are like, shut your mouth.
But then what is that part you're saying, for 3 days he didn't...
He didn't as far as giving up the game on who did what, because I'm sure lawyers...
Well, why wouldn't you give up the game if you're going down regardless?
Not necessarily. Not if you're saying, I didn't do this, and that was his original thing. So his original statement of, I didn't do this, I was a patsy, he had to stand by. So I'm sure there was... And he didn't have a lawyer in that first thing. And he may have said some things. He may have said some stuff.
Yeah.
And it may have been people who were too important to go after. So whatever he did in that interrogation room, either he did crack and gave up the game on the people that we can't get, or the Dallas police, or whoever was behind this. And there's a lot of people behind it, but he was definitely involved.
So do you think that he could have been there? I mean, he was definitely there, and whether or not, you pump a round out of the gun.
3. Minimum, maybe 4.
But that could have been someone else shooting. He's going to be the guy that looks like...
He did it.
And no one else was...
He did it.
Shooting. They wanted to set him up.
We're so invested in this being... The one thing that I've always thought from this is that humanity can't handle fragility. And the fragility of taking out a world leader. We cannot accept that it's just some lonely weirdo.
And was
by himself. We just can't do it.
Did he? He couldn't stand Kennedy?
He had all sorts of ties to Russia and like back to communism and the Cuban thing. And then there was all sorts of things he was involved in. But he was definitely involved in that whole Cuba deal.
That's what I'm wondering because
communism and all the potential.
Didn't sound like he did it for money.
The Teamsters and all the other things were involved. And there were like 3 or 4 factions that could have paid him.
That's why the mob was involved.
Exactly. And the mob gets
100%.
involved, and they get to the cops, and the cops basically say, "Here's your story." And he's like, "I'm not going to tell that story." And he sat in that room for 3 days, and they were protecting it. Jack Ruby was a mob.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Oh yeah,
and he never spilled the beans. He sat in jail for years and never said a thing.
Where you're supposed to do it.
Yep. So, I mean, everybody was kind of protecting something bigger. But this dude did it. But we as a society can't handle one dude. I mean, we do it every time there's one of those mall or school shootings. One guy can end this whole thing for me, and there's no reason for it. He just didn't feel like this guy should be around anymore. We have to have the story be huge, because to take out a world leader and cause world chaos, it can't be just some dude who lives in his mom's basement. So we create a bigger story around it. You have to.
Which, I mean, don't you think, I guess there's the argument then, or the debate, don't you think it's been enough time that you could roll out?
No, because too many people are still interested. That's why they keep moving that.
Because I think of so many other stories that we've heard about that came out later that are less than, younger than that.
Yeah. Basically what it says is the government that's still in place would probably have some dominoes start to fall if they found out what happened. Because it would make you ask questions about others.
There definitely are some people in.
Well, beyond the people, you'd ask questions about how operation runs. And then what else did we get lied to about? So it opens Pandora's box of like, oh, that happened? They were in on it? Now those guys were involved in this thing 5 years later with Watergate.
The CIA was selling crack
too. Oh, we had all sorts of that. So yeah, the CIA was in on the drugs, and so you start finding out how crooked everything is if you open the one. I really don't think it's that crooked, to be honest. I think Lee Harvey and a group of dudes who were met, and Texas was not happy with Kennedy, and Cuba, and the sympathizers for the communism and the Teamsters. And you had the mob.
Why'd you make it illegal for the cigars? I mean, people love those.
Exactly. You had a lot of stuff going into why. And then one dude just said, I got this. And he was willing to pull the trigger, and he did it. And then nobody backed him.
I should ask my dad more about that.
Yeah. Oh, your dad was probably...
He probably sold you on Lee Harvey the gun.
I would not be surprised if your father happened to be in Dallas that weekend, and you probably heard it.
Known.
You wouldn't, because you don't know much of anything. You didn't know he spent time in Cuba during the revolution. You don't ask questions. I bet you your dad said, "Oh, I love that Dallas. I was there November '63. It was absolutely stunning."
With Pete from Chicago.
It could be. His buddy Pete from Chicago used to drag him down to Cuba to make runs. Got to stuff this in your ass, Bogan. Sure. What are we doing? We're mulling, man. That sounds fun. I like wildlife.
I was hanging out at a club with this guy named Jack.
Is it Jack? We're at a strip club, throwing fingers in honeys. Anywho. Yeah, Jack Ruby's story is even better than Lee Harvey. But there's a cover-up, but Lee Harvey shot him. There's just, you get up in that 6th floor museum, and if you've ever got a chance to go to Dallas and do that thing, it's unbelievable. You just look and you're like, oh, yeah. This is a crap. This is the easiest shot in the world. I don't care how much you want to say. This Russian... bolt-action rifle couldn't get 3 shots. You could get 3 shots. I could get 3 shots off.
Even Dude Perfect could make that.
Yeah, I could get 3 shots off with that. The thing that they always say, it's an inaccurate weapon. Well, look at the shots. If you're standing where he was, and Kennedy's like, it's small. It's tiny. It would be like leaning out our window right now and shooting your car. It's
and
a
close. Moving shot.
It's close. He's going like 8 miles an hour.
Still a moving shot.
Okay, and he was a marksman. So then you sit and go, okay, that gun was inaccurate. Well, he hit him in the neck. He popped it, and then the third shot was the one that did the damage. It took 3 shots to hit him once, like a kill shot. So yeah, you're right. It wasn't an accurate weapon, and in the hands of a C student sniper, he hit him 3 times, and they were not clean shots until that one did its job. Yeah.
Our buddy
Kennedy stuff. You see, we're talking. It's Thanksgiving, everybody, because I'm talking Kennedy again. We got a big weekend of documentaries and stuff. Oh, it's going to be great. And watch that guy pop, one after another. They just moved the time capsule again to open up all the redacted information because too many people are interested and too many people want the truth. Until the interest dies down, that thing will
Can't Netflix offer enough to the government?
You would think so, that there would be like a 400. We could, pay for the infrastructure bill if Netflix just tell us what happened for $1 trillion. And we'll do a documentary on the reality of it. Just make something up. We'll eat it. We'll eat it like Turkey on the X. Turkey on the X is a great band name, by the way. God damn it. Ruined my whole Thanksgiving. You probably have a huge Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
With lasagna and like Italian food and then like a turkey over on the side.
Yeah, that's for the heathens.
We make the turkey because, traditions.
Yeah.
They surveyed people about Thanksgiving, and the one thing that you could leave out, 74%. Turkey.
Turkey?
They said they'd rather just have the sides, and 74% say leave the turkey out.
I don't like many.
Isn't that amazing?
I like the mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are solid. I can't stand that orange thing with marshmallows on it. I don't even know what that is. Sweet potatoes make me sick to look at.
I can't stand
it.
those.
It looks like when dogs have diarrhea.
People get fired up on either side on that green bean casserole.
Ugh. Just the word, green bean
like
casserole. Ugh. I could live without it. And you know how I know it's not good? You know how I know it's not good? You only eat it once a year. You don't go out of your way for green bean casserole because it's not that good. The only reason you think it's good is because you associate it with Thanksgiving, and it's just a food mess. Yeah, green bean casserole is disgusting. Yeah, I don't like cranberries. I don't like. I like the turkey. The turkey and the gravy, that's good, and the mashed potatoes. Taters. Give me some taters. That's about as far as I want to go with it.
Sweet taters.
You don't do stuffing or anything like that?
I like stuffing. My mom's stuffing. I go to other people's houses, and I hate to break it to you, but all of you have the stuffing I've ever had in my life. I've never had good stuffing outside of my mom's.
Only a couple of times.
It's not good because you're used to having eaten it since you were like 4, a specific style of stuffing. My mom's is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've never had ever in my life.
Because most people throw stovetop on the counter. Here you go.
My mom's is amazing.
And that's their standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to somebody else's house and there's like couscous in it or something lemony. And you're like, what the hell is that? Oh, it's our family recipe. Well, your family is a piece of compared to my mom's recipe, which is good. Yours is awful. Never had good stuffing outside of my mom's stuffing, which I've always said, stuffing my mom. It's the best. Stuffing and my mom. You guys would have a blast with that. But yeah, so Thanksgiving's a week away. A week away. Brady, you're just doing the 3 of you at home.
Yeah, as of right now.
You're working on trying to get more?
No, we do have an invite
to go somewhere?
To stop over. I'm like, maybe should I load up 4 different Thanksgivings this year?
What do you mean? Do you when you
That's
do that?
That's a question to you?
Yeah, I was going to say, you eat at all of them. Look
sometimes.
at that face.
Sometimes.
He doesn't want to insult anyone, you know.
That's probably the same face Lee Harvey made when they said you did this. You did this. It was such
It'll take age for me to crack.
You eat all of them, and that face went like, well, I should probably lie about this, but yes.
It's a Scooby-Doo.
You got to sample.
Like he eats it, all of them, Scoob. Yeah, that was a guilty face. So you go to each. So you look forward to being invited.
I haven't in. It's been a while.
Because usually have people at your place.
Yeah.
Right. But this year,
we host
just you.
Easter most of the time in the family here in Arizona.
But I don't even know the last time I had an Easter meal. But Thanksgiving, if you get invited to another person's house, do you sit down and eat with them like you haven't eaten yet? Yeah.
We haven't. The last time, we did. Okay, so 3 years ago, we were going to do steaks, and I had the steaks out.
Right.
Ronnie put them out on the. They're in the counter, and that's where the cat had an assist to the dogs. $150
kicked
steaks.
Him down. Yeah, okay.
Gobble.
So the dogs.
And so Ronnie called her cousin and told her we were laughing at what happened, kind of like, I'm not going out there and get,
Right.
And she says, well, we've got plenty of food. So we went over there.
So you guys just couldn't go with what you had.
Yeah.
The steaks were a necessity, so you had to go get a bigger meal.
No, rather than starting into it, because we were getting ready, we didn't even.
Oh, you hadn't had the side started.
Yeah, nothing was started.
Okay, so the steak thing ruined it, and you're like, well, now we're not even going to have things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
then, so she
freeloaded off somebody else's Thanksgiving. Gotcha.
Then we did. Then the last 2 years, we've been basically solo,
but not going house to house eating.
No.
But this year with 4 invites, you might rock 4 meals. It's all right.
Yeah.
He's going to.
No, I won't. I won't do 4 because I've gotten to the point where I just you kind of want to stay down. Getting out of the house on the break
it's terrible. Yeah, so that's it. Well, good for him.
But once it starts,
you know it, and I know it. That's going to be.
But John,
new friends.
You're right.
Opportunities
once I start,
for food.
if I get out of the house, it's on.
Really, you just go. It's an avalanche of eating.
No, not. I don't go that big on Thanksgiving.
You go to 4 places for food. That's big.
I might try, something over there, the turkey over here, or.
You couldn't go to somebody's house.
If there's a new dish that someone rolled out, because I don't,
Brady, be honest with you. If you went over to somebody's house and there's turkey and all the stuff, you're going to give everything
oyster dressing.
Like, remember when he went to the Cardinal game? And we're like, what'd you have? What'd you eat? Oh, I didn't eat much. I had a burger. And then, did you eat any of that carne asada? I sampled that. Did you have one of those burritos? I did eat one of the burritos. Like, you don't even know that what your samples count as eating.
No, I log what I eat.
I mean, you didn't that day. We had to convince you. We had to convince you that your sampling is also.
I see a log of what I ate afterwards.
I'm on to you.
My Fitness Pal over there, or what?
Exactly. I'm on to you because your meal is your meal. Samples and the reaching and stuff, that doesn't count as eating. You have to be reminded, like, oh, yeah, no, I did. I had some of that carne asada. And then we did have some of those burritos. I'm like, you were eating a lot then. No. I don't
we
go
know
deep.
that's going to be a cheat day.
Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving, you can't diet on that. But I know that you will walk into somebody else. You'll go to Laser's house, and if he's got turkey sitting there carved, you're taking a plate. You need to know if his gravy's better than yours. You need to know if the stuffing's better than you. You're a critic. You're a food critic.
Whatever the food spirit moves me when I'm over there.
Oh, that's a
like
thing.
What?
There's a food spirit.
Is
like,
there?
Look at that dressing over there.
Yeah, you know what the food spirit is? It's a hallucination from high blood pressure. That's what you're seeing. This is not a good thing. You got to be careful. Your head's going to do like that watermelon did, just on its own. There's not even going to be a bullet involved. Anyway, Thanksgiving. It's a week. 1 week from today. Crazy. Brett's got a surprise for you. We're going to tell you about that in just a second. Give us a wake-up song. Ready to hang out with Brett all morning because you're going to hand out coffee.
Yes.
You're going to do a nice thing. And you're over, where is it?
Over in Scottsdale, around Thomas and Pima.
All right, Thomas and Pima, and it's where?
Black Rock Coffee.
All right, we're going to
for
tell you
Operation Santa Claus.
Brett's got some good stuff for you. Exactly, this is going to be good. So we'll get Brett's information to you in a second. You get to hang out with Brett this morning out at Black Rock. Should be nice. Give us a wake up song 585-9800, and we'll scream it together. It's 98 KUPD. Wake up!
Hey!
Here we go.
98.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.